All this talent on screen, and for what? This movie pissed me off. Welcome back to my channel. It's Tyra here with another struggle review, here to discuss Cutthroat City. Now, this movie is directed by RZA, Wu-Tang, stars Shameik Moore, Wesley Snipes, T.I., everybody was in this movie. Now, this movie was released, I believe, last August of last year. I did not watch it, but since it's available now on Netflix, I decided to check it out. Before we get into what I thought about this movie and why I feel like I wasted 2 hours of my life that I will never get back, I need you guys to drop down and subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'm going to give you guys a second to do that, and then we're going to come back and discuss all things dumbass Cutthroat City. Hopefully subscribe to see more of me. Let's get into the shit show. Now, we open this movie with some animation. Now, if you are a fan of RZA and Wu-Tang and any of his artistry, you know that he loves a good animation. And I was with it. I was like, okay, I'm liking the animation. And then from that point, it got stupid. Now, we open with marriage. And we open with getting to know our main protagonist. Now, not only is he getting married, but we're made to know that he's an artist and he's, trying to get into graphic design, and that he's really talented, and he's marrying his soon-to-be wife. Now, we do spend a decent amount of time getting to know other characters like his wife, his group of friends, their hopes, their ambitions, how long they've been friends, and we get to see the kind of bond that they have. And as soon as we do that, we are hit with Hurricane Katrina, which happened in 2005. Now, once I saw that, I thought this could be an interesting take on, people dealing with the aftermath of that. Kind of like the HBO show Treme, if you guys remember that. I remember it. Very good show. I thought this was an opportunity to be something like that, but told from a different perspective. This was not that. Now, before I could really even get into what was going on and what was happening, it was the lack of New Orleans, Southern, Louisiana, Ninth Ward accents for me. Now, I am not saying I am expecting Juvenile and Weezy F Baby across the screen, but if you are from New Orleans and you have been there, you know that the accent is thick. It's there. Most of the time you can recognize someone from New Orleans before they even tell you. But there was absolutely nothing here. If there was hint at an accent or somebody trying to have one, it wasn't consistent. It was almost like New Yorkers or people, from California trying to pretend to be Southern. It was so off-putting. I was just like, no. Now, at this point, we've tried to get a job. We were denied, so we had to break down and apply for FEMA, what this set of friends said that they wouldn't do. Denied. And this is when we are introduced to T.I. Now, we've heard about him throughout the story, and we don't want to go there, so we know that this is a bad element. Expeditiously. Don't put T.I. in any more movies. Just don't. I think he did so well in ATL that kind of coasted him through these acting roles, but it was an ATL film. He was in his element. He was born and raised there. Other roles, especially the recent ones, and how much T.I. likes to talk today, and all the words that flow out of his mouth, it was just like, The acting up until this point, all around the entire movie, was already bad. But we get into raccoons, trained raccoons who are fighting to be bet on. And T.I. with the Ventilago going on, or you know how sometimes they want the bad guy to really look like the bad guy, so they give him a fake scar here or something. What? It literally looked like someone took some foundation that was 3 shades lighter than T.I. and put those marks on his face and said action. Like we couldn't get that right. Why? Why did we need it here? What? By the time we got to a gentleman dropping his pants and being attacked in the groin area by a raccoon, I checked out. So at this point, we've had bad acting, bad accents, a lack of script. Like, I get RZA trying to use some of the footage from Hurricane Katrina, but other than that footage, you really didn't see anything that let you know that this was 2005 and a hurricane had hit. Everything looked fine for the most part, and it was just like the direction was off. Everybody is not meant to be a director. Some of us are just writers. RZA, you're a writer. But we get into this heist, what we think this movie is about. I just have no words. Like, it was so bad. It was so bad. We have this heist going on that we immediately see as a setup with how the police show up, and we get them, putting on those typical, I'm like, ugh, the hood with the sheer, please arrest me mask. You can see me, mask. Yeah, we can see you. Those masks. And we go and rob this place. And our sympathetic character, Denzel Whitaker, who only got 5 minutes of screen time, which I was so thankful because he is too great. He's too talented to be, you know what? A lot of people were too talented to be here. There was so much talent. I just kept watching and we're meeting character after character after. This movie could have saved so much time. There was no need for this movie to be 2 hours. We are meeting character after character after character in talent and not spending enough time with them to even care. Having minimal dialogue and not being a cohesive story for anything to flow at some point as an audience. But I'm like, what's going on? What's happening? We see the heist happen. We see that he's shot. And then we see Isaiah Washington and you're going to bury him. Like, what? We used Isaiah for that? Not saying I don't want to see any of these men get work. Because Lord, I was so happy to see Wesley Snipes. Who doesn't love Wesley? Who doesn't love Isaiah Washington? These are iconic black men, but just with all the talent that was here in the story that could have been told about the aftermath of something like a Hurricane Katrina, this movie could have been awesome. And it was not. It was not. But after a bunch of pointless investigating and the guys deciding, hey, we need to get in touch with Saint. Saint can help us. Because all we ever wanted was to get a means of income to bring ourselves from point A to point B. But once we have this income and we can escape the Ninth Ward, we want more than anything to just go back. That's okay. So we're trying to get back, but to get back, we need to get in contact with Saint. Now, in this entire film, no one's held to task. Everybody is meant to roam free. We're snorting coke. We're stacking this at strippers' ass and tits, and it's okay. Like it, and you're just like, what is going on? What is all the police work for if we're not going to actually arrest anyone? And we see the themes of, the Ninth Ward being used to, subsidize other forms of living. We were used before the storm. They're, buying property. And it's just not really explored to make me care. And the story with the heist, it became a movie that didn't know what it wanted to be. It was like, pick one. If it had picked one, we would have got a better story. but it didn't. After the heist, about an hour into this movie, we start to get into what's supposed to make this a cutthroat city. We start to harbor on, who can we trust, who's double crossing who, and it is just a mess. We have a detective who has absolutely no presence, and you're just trying to figure out, why is you here? Why you here? We have, Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke, who's here for what? I don't know. He's here as the city councilman, drunk, who's, fell off the wagon since his wife's died of cancer. We have, another man, another guy. We have T.I. It was so much going on. But we try to follow these men who want the financial means to escape their situations in the lower Ninth Ward, go on the run after being, patronized by Expeditiously and attacked, who happens to be the cousin of his wife. And we end up at Wesley Snipes, who we know is James Shameik Moore's father. Now, I really enjoyed seeing Wesley. Was he needed here? No. There were a ton of characters who were not needed here. They were only here for the audience to say, ooh, Wesley Snipes is in this? Wesley Snipes is in this? We're going to save Terrence for later. Ethan Hawke is in this? These people had no real presence. They were just here, but nobody pushed the narrative along. It was upsetting. I was so mad. Like, I had a bonnet on. I took it off and threw it at the TV. I was that mad. I was mad. I was mad. But not only do these kids, I really like how they kept referring to them as kids as if they weren't grown-ass men. But all logic went out the window. It turned from a heist to a whodunit, to who can we trust, to we're on the run, to, oh, we just got to get these kids back home. These kids are in trouble. What kids? These grown-ass men who have, at this point, robbed 2 to 3, 4 more banks out in the swamps or wherever the hell they were with Wesley Snipes. But we just, through all of that evidence, because we took off our whole outfit from when our friend was murdered and the heist took place, which the detectives finds with a chip in the pocket. But we just threw all that out because we needed to save him because he was an artist and a good boy. He's a good boy. So everything that was taking place, we were just supposed to turn a blind eye to it because he was once a really good artist and had so much potential, and he's better than this. Where's the jail time? So by the time we see our protagonist in a strip club after robbing all these places, and he's already met up with the detective, and it's just like, oh, I'm trying to, you were this, I knew you back when you were a freshman, you were talented, hey, I need you to come talk, we're gonna meet again, you can be better than this. And it's just like, we just don't arrest nobody's city. Okay, because no one gets arrested. We finally get introduced to Saint. All this big talk of Saint, and oh, Saint, who's Saint? Saint is Terrence Howard. I love me some Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard brings so much to any movie, any screen. Here, it was just like, Saint could have been anyone. Any of the other 75 characters that were in the show. Now, I was hoping for a twist to happen and for maybe Ethan Hawke to be Saint. Nope. Here's another superstar for no damn reason. And it gets all biblical. And there's a lot of Spanish taking place, trying to give us some depth. It was not happening. And there are, masks put over their head. We're like, are these kids, these young men, these babies, are they about to be executed? What's about to take place? And then all this bullshit. I was just so upset. There were so many plots and so many plot holes. It was just like, who and what am I supposed to be following? Because nothing is making sense. Nothing here was conducive for a good movie. Absolutely nothing. And I found myself going, this is like one of the worst movies I've ever watched in my life. You know, when you like download an app and it has, you know, those low rent bootleg hood movies? I'm not talking about like Boys in the Hood. No, I mean like hood movies. Like, you don't know any. This was that. This was that. But only there was so much talent and you didn't understand why these people were partaking in this. Just why. We get to the ending and Saint and Expeditiously decide to have a meetup and they, you know, say all these wonderful things. The best dialogue that the film had, period. I was interested in that. I was like, T.I. kind of works well here with Terrence Howard because they're both kind of one and the same as far as the greed of it all. The best part of this movie is when T.I. got shot in the head. That made my whole day because finally he shut the hell up. I was so happy. I was like, whew, took y'all long enough. And then we find out, you know, that this person's a detective and Ethan Hawke was in on this the whole time. It's a case of, you know, one hand greasing the other situation. No one is clean here in this city, which cutthroat city. But no, still wasn't good. Still wasn't good. Now, we end with the detective going to his home and saying, you know, you're scot-free now. You can have a fresh start and start over. And at this point, I was like, what? That's it? We have the other friend, or Tupac, because he's just going to be Tupac. I'm sorry. I know Demetrius, but he's just Tupac. Sleeping in his car now. And the other friend, just no dog anymore. And it's just like, But we end with, you know, him and his wife slow dancing as if they were in the wedding. And then this is when we just didn't need the last 15 minutes of this film. Now, he starts to sketch, because you're home now, baby. I just love whatever her name is, who's the light skin, whatever, in these movies that have been coming out. I think her name is Kat Graham. I think so. And she just has the, she just always, her voice is just, you better than this. We can do better, baby. I love you. It's just, it's very Beyonce. Girl, shut up. But yeah, they're slow dancing and you're home now and he's sketching, scot-free, I might add. Then we go into the group, the three men meeting up again to go and rob the FEMA place that he had his eye on early on in the film. Like, yeah, that's where all the money is. At which they all end up shot. Now, this getting shot scene, where all three men are shot, and we got Shameik Moore coming out, and there's clearly an attachment under that damn sweater that we can see through the sweater. We are made to believe that, like, oh, it was all a dream. Oh, it was all, what? I'm like, what, was he writing a story? What is this a comic? Is this a book? What's happening here? No. We're supposed to be understanding that the detective saved him at that moment, not turning in a sketch of who he was. And now he's able to go on and live life and sketch and draw and graphic design. Okay. I don't know what that was for. No. And then we end, you know, the wife is taking the son to go visit Wesley Snipes without. I'm like, well, damn, is he dead? Why isn't he there? What the hell is going on here? What is going on here? It was just attachment after attachment. Like, where is the end? Get to the credits. This movie was already disappointing. Do not prolong this. The credits start to roll and we get some more story. We get Ethan Hawke with Courtney, the other guy who's just been there, you know, reckless, not having to follow the law, do whatever he wants to because he's a officer also. Nobody's held accountable. It's just cutthroat city. We can do whatever we want to. Nobody's getting arrested. Except for the strippers and the prostitutes. He gets shot and set up by Ethan Hawke, and our Tupac Demetrius friend character is given the reins to, reign over the new up and coming Cutthroat City. And we end with that. And more, of those animated credits. Trash. I did look up the writer. I do believe that this is his first writing credit. It is a white writer. I just really wish, not saying that he didn't, because I don't know, that when these writers write these movies for us, make sure we are in the writing room. Because someone is there to, double back and check to go, oh, no. That doesn't sound right. I don't really think he would make that decision there. I don't really think they would speak like that. I don't really think this is logical. This is what probably happened in that moment. Just to give a little bit more insight that you clearly didn't have when you wrote this script, because it was horrible. It was horrible. The acting was horrible. The plot was horrible. Nothing makes sense, and I will never watch this film again. Do I recommend that you watch this movie? Absolutely not. Save your time. Save your eyes. Save yourself the agony, because it was horrible. I have seen Shameik Moore in so many other things, and he did, absolutely great. Even with him and RZA being involved in the Wu-Tang series, which I think is really good. In the Get Down series, the short-lived Netflix Get Down series, RZA was a part of that. Good. The directing was horrible. The acting was horrible. The pacing was horrible. This was a bad movie. This was a bad movie. Don't watch it. If you guys watch Cutthroat City, please drop down and tell me what you thought about the film. If you absolutely loved this movie and it was giving you everything you needed, get yourself some help, because it sucked. Drop down and tell me that. If you think I was correct, if I missed anything, if you just want to talk about the shitty things you hated about this movie, drop down below and tell me that. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.